Marcus Evers was a man of science, a biologist whose worldview was cemented in the principles of natural selection. To him, everything was a product of nature's unyielding hand, and he sought to understand life through this singular lens. From the time he was a child, he viewed the world differently, seeing beauty in the brutality and inevitability of survival. Marcus's journey began in his childhood home, nestled in the heart of rural Vermont. His father, an avid hunter, often took him into the woods, teaching him the art of tracking and survival. Marcus's mother, a botanist, filled their home with plants and books about nature. These formative experiences cultivated a deep appreciation for the natural world, but more importantly, they shaped his understanding of life and death. One autumn afternoon, Marcus witnessed a fox catching a rabbit. The rabbit's desperate struggle for life ended abruptly in the fox's jaws. While other children might have been horrified, Marcus was fascinated. He saw the event not as cruel, but as a necessary part of the ecosystem. "Survival of the fittest," his father said, patting his shoulder. The phrase echoed in Marcus's mind, becoming a cornerstone of his belief system. Years passed, and Marcus excelled in school, particularly in biology. His fascination with natural selection deepened as he read Darwin's works and other scientific literature. He pursued a degree in evolutionary biology, where he quickly distinguished himself with his unwavering commitment to his perspective. To him, every phenomenon, no matter how brutal, was an example of nature's way of ensuring the survival of the strongest and most adaptable. After earning his PhD, Marcus became a professor at a prestigious university. He lectured passionately about natural selection, often drawing controversial parallels to human society. When a colleague spoke of the tragedy of a famine in a developing country, Marcus remarked, "It's nature's way of balancing population. The weak perish so the strong can thrive." His colleagues found his views disturbing, but his scientific rigor was undeniable. In his personal life, Marcus applied the same principles. When his wife, Anna, miscarried their first child, he consoled her by saying, "It's natural selection. The child wasn't strong enough to survive." Anna, devastated by his cold rationalization, grew distant. Their relationship deteriorated, and eventually they divorced. Marcus saw it as another instance of survival of the fittest. Their union was not strong enough to endure. Despite his personal losses, Marcus's career flourished. He became a renowned author, publishing books that applied natural selection to various aspects of life, from economics to psychology. His work sparked debates and criticisms, but it also garnered a following. Some admired his unflinching dedication to his principles, while others found his views alarmingly devoid of empathy. Marcus remained unfazed by criticism. To him, emotions were secondary to the laws of nature. When his mother fell ill with cancer, he refused to let her undergo aggressive treatment. "It's nature's course," he told her. "Your body is not strong enough to fight it." His mother, a woman who had taught him to respect nature, accepted her fate with more grace than Marcus ever could have. She passed away quietly, leaving Marcus to grapple with the stark reality of his beliefs. The years continued to pass, and Marcus's life became increasingly solitary. He watched as former colleagues and students formed families, forged connections, and created legacies that extended beyond their academic contributions. Marcus, however, remained isolated, seeing relationships as unnecessary complexities in the grand scheme of survival. He spent his days lecturing, writing, and observing the world through the detached lens of natural selection. One harsh winter, a homeless man died outside Marcus's apartment building. The man had sought shelter in the alley but succumbed to the freezing temperatures. Marcus heard the news and, without a second thought, attributed it to natural selection. "The man was not equipped to survive the winter," he told a concerned neighbor. "It's nature's way." But as the years wore on, a subtle unease began to creep into Marcus's mind. The solitude he once valued started to feel like a burden. The world seemed colder, not because of the changing seasons, but because of the emotional distance he had cultivated. He began to question if his rigid adherence to natural selection had stripped away something essential from his life. One spring, while walking through a park, Marcus observed a young couple playing with their child. The child's laughter echoed through the air, a stark contrast to the somber quiet of his own existence. For the first time, Marcus felt a pang of longing. He realized that while he had spent his life justifying and reducing everything to natural selection, he had missed the nuanced beauty of human connections. In an attempt to reconcile his beliefs with his growing sense of emptiness, Marcus began volunteering at a local shelter. He rationalized it as an opportunity to observe human behavior under stress. But as he spent time with the people there, he found himself drawn to their stories, their resilience, and their capacity for compassion despite their struggles. He saw strength not just in survival, but in the bonds that people formed to help each other endure. One evening, a young woman named Sarah shared her story with Marcus. She had lost her job, her home, and her family, yet she continued to fight for a better future. Marcus, listening intently, felt a profound respect for her determination. For the first time, he saw that strength could be found in vulnerability, and that natural selection did not solely mean the survival of the strongest, but also the survival of those who could adapt through connection and cooperation. As Marcus continued his work at the shelter, his perspective slowly shifted. He began to see that while natural selection played a role in shaping life, it was not the sole determinant of existence. Human compassion, empathy, and community were equally powerful forces. He realized that his earlier views had been overly simplistic, ignoring the complexities that made life rich and meaningful. In his later years, Marcus wrote one final book, The Evolution of Compassion. It was a departure from his previous works, acknowledging the importance of human connection and cooperation in the process of survival. The book was well received, sparking discussions about the interplay between biology and humanity. Marcus spent his remaining days surrounded by the people he had once kept at a distance. He found solace in their company and a sense of fulfillment that had eluded him for so long. In the end, he understood that natural selection was not just about the survival of the fittest, but about the resilience and strength found in unity and compassion.